Wolves. The first section is embargoed until 1:30 tomorrow, and then we'll take some questions for Sundays. So if we can get started with James Cole from Sky.
Hi, Brendan. A quick turnaround. How tough is that going to be in itself?
Yeah, it's always when you have European football and you got to get in, recover, and then go again on the Sunday. But that's part of success when you've done well and you've qualified to play in Europe. Then that's all part of the game. So yeah, we'll get ready for that, recover next couple of days, and look forward to the game on Sunday.
Obviously, straight after the game, it's hard to talk about injury news and team news, but Maddison obviously had that issue. Sonachu as well. Any concerns, particularly over central defence with Sonachu going off?
We'll see. I'll know more tomorrow.
Okay, and in terms of Wolves, what have you made of them this season? What have you made of them under Bruno Liège, and are you surprised how well they've done?
No, I'm not surprised. I think Bruno's done great since he's come in. Obviously, coming in, working with an experienced group of players that have done really well in the Premier League, and he's come in and added his bit to them. You know, they've got no European football, so they can prepare all week and train and work well, and they have quality players. So yeah, they've done very, very well. They play this system really well. Got dangerous players. Got Jimenez back, who's one of the top strikers in the league, and yeah, they're very well organised, and yeah, he's done really, really well.
You mentioned them not having European football. It's funny, you obviously target European football, but in a way, does it help them in the league, and does it inhibit you guys a little bit in the league?
Well, sometimes it's obviously a great challenge whenever you have the depths of squads that the likes of ourselves have, you know, and then when you're having injuries, then of course it's a real challenge. But that's what we fight for. We fight to be in European football. It's the prestige of getting into Europe, finishing as high up the league as you can, and they themselves have had a great season up until now, done very well, and they'll be pushing to finish as high as they can.
Is this must win for you guys if you're to qualify for Europe via the league this season, do you think?
I don't think so. No, I think it's just every game we go in, we want to win, and we'll do everything we can to do that. Tough place to go on the back of a European game, but it's the challenge that we embrace, and we'll look to go there and play our football, and just feel now we're starting to get a lot more signs of the level that we've played at for a few seasons, the fluidity in the team, and the width, and the creation of chances, and dominating the ball. So these are all things that are coming back into a game, and now, whether it's Wolves or the following games, we want to continue in that mantra for the rest of the season.
For many, you've done an incredible job at Leicester, and for many, you've overachieved, yet there continue to be reports over your future. Are you concerned about your future at all? Is your future in doubt, in your opinion?
Listen, I'm very respectful of your question, and obviously the answer. Hopefully, I think it's one where you can only do your best. I think we started out on a journey here, of which we're nowhere near finished. You know, we're nearly 3 years in working together, and we've made some great steps going forward. Progress isn't always linear. You know, there's going to be fits and starts, and you don't need to be a rocket scientist. I think it's logic when you see where we are this year. You know, if you look at the players that we've been missing, and it's a challenge in itself to be up there competing when you have all your fit players, especially when you're competing with the Manchester City and Liverpool and Chelsea and Manchester United and Arsenal and Tottenham and all these teams. And you know, I listen to Antonio and the squad that he has, yet he feels that he needs much more to be challenging in the top four. So you can only imagine the likes of ourselves then the challenge it is for us. But we'll keep fighting, and for me it's about returning to our level of football, and I know in time we will get to that, and we'll get players back, and then that's all you can do. The clubs, I've loved every second of being here, and and they understand the criticism, because when you don't get results, that will always come your way. So I would take that. So, but for me, I love working with the players. The club are been very, very supportive of me, and I'll continue to do that until I'm told otherwise.
In the Premier League, with the way it is and the time you get, can you sometimes be a victim of your own success, do you think?
I think that's probably for other people to say. My idea here was to bring success to the club, to keep challenging and trying to disrupt the top teams. That was always going to be difficult. And I think that we, for a period, for a few seasons, we've done that. My big factor in coming to here also was to try to develop a team that people will talk about. That's always been my mantra within the clubs, and play a level of football that people enjoy watching, that the supporters do, and then with that bring success. And we've been able to do that. This year clearly is a challenge, but there's circumstances and there's reasons for that. But we don't want to, and we haven't spoken about that. So, but we just continue to work, and like I say, we just do our very best, whatever that level of success is or overachievement. That'll be for other people to measure.
Okay, thank you, Brendan. Good luck on
Thanks.
Sunday.
James, thank you. Thanks.
Thanks, James. We'll go to Pete Colley from Premier League Productions.
Hi, Brendan.
Hi, Pete.
You talked about coming in and disrupting the big sides. Are Wolves taking the baton from you a little bit this season, do you think?
No, I think they've done very well. I think that there's a number of clubs that are looking to challenge the hierarchy in the league, not just ourselves. I think there's clearly, you have the clubs that have done that, and I think Wolves obviously this season have done that. I think over the course of the last numbers of years, we've been able to challenge that, and we can still do that in the future.
When you played them the first game of the season, obviously you beat them 1-0. It looked then like there were tough times ahead for Bruno Lage, because he was clearly changing things and dismantling parts of Nuno's plan. Did you think there were tougher times than have actually happened?
No, I think that he's done very, very well. I don't think he's dismantled so much. They play the same system. But what they do, they've got their idea is more offensive, for sure, whilst keeping that solidity. It's a very experienced team of players that know the level and know the league. And he's come in, and Bruno's got a good understanding of being in the British game as well, from his time at Sheffield Wednesday and Swansea. So he came in, and on that day when we played them, we played really well in the first half, and they did well in the second half. So you could see that they were a good side, and they've been able to have more coaching time, and he's been able to develop them with his staff, and they've had some fantastic results. So no, it's not a surprise, but I think he's come in and added and put his stamp on the team and done very well.
With recent results, and you've clearly been frustrated, and you've been calling for a more ruthless nature. Are you pleased when you see some of the younger players, homegrown players like Harvey Barnes and Dewsbury Hall, when they react to that call? It must fill you full of joy, mustn't it?
Yeah, the players have been brilliant, Pete. As I said, in my time here, and very, very few occasions do I need to poke them. But like I say, it's a very young group, so you're going to get inconsistency with it. But the joy of seeing the response from the Forest game, where we were very spirited against Liverpool, and maybe not to our level, but we showed that unity and solidarity in the team. Against West Ham, we should win. Fantastic second half, much more like our football. And those individual performances, like you say, were important to a very collective performance that should win the game. And then tonight, again, just continue with that. Kieran Dewsbury Hall's been sensational, really, since he's come into the team. He's got so much more to go as well. He can add goals to his game, but his energy, his physicality, his concentration. He's playing at a really high level, and that's brought out the best in Barnsley as well. And like you say, there's a number of young players. So with youth, you're going to get inconsistency, and especially if they don't have the support of the senior players in terms of unavailability. But it's a process, and like I said, I can clearly see progress in them. If not the team, which has been a bit inconsistent this season.
Just finally, a Premier League manager once said to me, if you think we go in and, give the players a hairdryer every time they play badly, you're wrong. They wouldn't get back up again. What is the fine line between wanting to vent and having to actually put your arm around them because there's another game in 3 days' time?
I always think, to be honest, I think that's the easiest way. I've never been that way. I've always been very supportive of players, and anyone will tell you in terms of my man management and how I'll deal with players and operate with them. But like I've said before, sometimes it is being harsh. It gives clarity to players, and like I said, myself, I prefer to be told. And with players now, and the modern player that is in the bubbles that they're in, then if you're actually not telling them who is, because their agents probably may not be, and they're in such a bubble where they don't get told, and supporters will love them, I'm sure. And so I've always been honest with players, but there is a fine line, and but hopefully we see the reaction that we've had since the Forest game. The players know I'm with them, and we'll always give them everything to help them develop their career.
Cheers. Good luck in the game.
Thanks, Pete. Thank you.
Thanks, Pete. We'll go to Phil Medlicott from PA.
Hi, Brendan. I just want to quickly check. I know Maddison and Solanke will be sort of assessed ahead of Sunday. In terms of Pereira, can we definitely expect him to be back? And also, Wesley Fofana has returned to training. Do you think there's any chance that he could be involved in Sunday?
Ricardo hopefully will be fine. Luke Thomas hopefully will be fine. Wesley will join the squad training tomorrow for the first time. So it's too early for him to be involved. And James Maddison and Soyuncu we'll see how they are over the next day or so.
Thanks. We'll go to Jordan Blackwell.
Hi, Brendan.
Hi, Jordan.
On Luke, obviously you left him out tonight. I know you said you'd wanted to give him a break. Was that it? You just felt he needed a game out of the side?
No, he was tight in his hamstrings. After I left him out the other day, and then I had to put him into the game, and he's just he felt a tightness in his hamstring, so we couldn't afford to take the risks. But it felt much better today, and obviously with Ricardo just coming back. His recovery after games will be a bit longer in this early period. So but hopefully all being well, those two will be okay for the weekend.
If not, you've got Mark Albrighton who's doing a grand job, sort of filling in any position you need him. How have you rated his performances when he has had to come into the team, not always in his most natural position? Yeah,
he's an amazing professional. Wherever there's a fire in the team, he puts it out. He's just, he was going to play in the sort of right back this evening, and then later on we had to move him to the left side, and he goes in and he's aggressive. He plays the role very well, and for me, he's a great reference for our players and for the club. Very honest professional, and whatever he's asked to do, he gives it 100%, and he's a great role model for our young professionals.
After the Wolves game, I've just been looking at your fixtures. I think you've got then 4 games against the top 9 and 11 games against sides from 10th downwards. Now, I know all the games are trickier, but it's quite a promising looking fixture list. Is it something that you've looked at and maybe mentioned to your players as a possibility for a real charge up the pitch charge up the table later in the season?
No, I couldn't afford to look, because I might not be here. Yeah, look to the next game, George. That's the mantra. So that's all we're doing. Just look to the next game.
Thanks, Brendan. Best of luck on Sunday.
Pleasure. Thank you.
Cheers. We'll end this section with James Nursey then.
Hi, Brendan.
Hi, James.
Good evening. You're obviously thrilled with Dewsbury Hall's development. I don't know if there's anything else you can say about it, but he seems to sort of set the tempo for you. I know you like your teams to play at a quick pace, and he seems to really sort of get on the ball and make things happen for you and move it quickly. I mean, it must be very pleasing you've got such a young, raw player leading by example like that.
Yeah, delighted. It's the type of player I love, a technical player who's got agility, who's got a good tactical idea of the game, who doesn't, see it as a chore to run and to work. He sees that as the obligation. And he loves playing for his club. This is his city. He loves being here. He's been here since he's a child. And he's loving every minute of it and proving a point that he can play. And yeah, I've been absolutely delighted for him. He's been a real catalyst since he's played that second half against Southampton. And I still think there's a lot more to come from him. He'll add goals. His final pass, these things will get better as he gains more experience. And he's got that bit of tenacity as well, which you've seen in the game. So, yeah, he's been a really, really important player for us. I'm absolutely delighted because when I first came in here, he was a young player that we felt could play in the team, and he's progressed into being a really important player for us now.
Thank you.